Hi, my name is Minesh, and thank you for being here today. First of all, good afternoon to you. Let's have some energy in the room, right? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Very good. So this is very exciting opportunity for me because I know you are all committed to growing your business, but you don't want to grow the business the way everybody else tries and fails. How many of you would like to build special relationships and increase your business? Very good. That's exactly what we are here about, because how many of you go to different networking events and find out that you exchange business cards but nothing happens after that? Like, I go to networking event after networking event and practically nobody calls me back. Now, I thought initially it was just me. It's like something about me they didn't want to talk to, right? Then I find out they don't call anybody back. It's like, whoa, you went to a networking event, you got some business cards, and you never called back. Some people just slam an email out saying, hey, who I am. So the part that I don't really believe in is me marketing. How many of you think me marketing is not the best way to do it? Exactly. My name is Minesh, as I said, and as you know, I was not born here in Grand Blanc, Michigan. I was born in a city called Agra, which is famous for Taj Mahal. So that's a trivia question you can answer at any place. So I do speak fast, and if you don't understand me, you need me to repeat something, I'll repeat it, unfortunately in the same accent, right? Lee knows all my jokes by now, right? She has heard me so many times here.
I memorized it.
So I want to thank each and every one of you for coming, and I know we have a couple of guests as well, so if you're a guest, just raise your hand. Very good, thank you for coming. We appreciate that tremendously. This is a different type of environment. This is a place where you can network with people who are focused on growing their business. Not just talking to people, but building relationships. My background is I was a computer programmer for 12 years, and I did not like being a computer programmer. I have a bachelor's in electrical engineering and a master's in systems engineering and management. But for me, sitting at a desk all day long wasn't something I enjoyed. The last assignment I was doing was in Fenton, and I dreaded going to work 45 minutes from Troy, Michigan, which is where I live. And finally, one day I told my clients, like, hey, you know what? I got this office, you got this new guy who's sitting in a cubicle outside. Let me work from home, I'll work 20 hours a week. I'm sure the client was like, what's going on here, right? But she knew I wasn't that much into it anyway, correct? So in October, she fired me, and she was like, this guy isn't really interested in working here, and I had to start a new career. I did find a new opportunity in programming in Tucson, Arizona in January. It was 80 degrees. It was fun. Except I knew I was going to run out of steam pretty soon. I knew that I needed to find a new career, and I like speaking in front of groups of people. So I've been a business coach, speaker, author for 16 years now, and I've published 9 different books, including Stop Hiring Losers, Network Your Way to $100,000 and Beyond, etc. One of the recent ones that I'm promoting now is $100,000 Income Mastery. So how many of you would like to make $100,000 and more every year, correct? Exactly. That's what the fun part is. Now, if you've been in a profession for a while, every year you should be making more and working less. How many of you can agree with that philosophy?
Yeah.
So to give you my philosophy is, I have a wife and 2 children, 8-year-old boy, 13-year-old girl. And because I like having more fun, what I did this year was, from January to March, we went to Florida, because I don't like cold weather. So if you are seeing some of those people who are driving in ice like 5 miles an hour, that's me, okay, just so that you know. You're like, oh, that's the guy, okay? So sorry, that's why I make life easier for people around here while leaving, right? So otherwise I would be blocking all the roads here. What ends up happening for me is, like, I have fun in warm weather, and my children are young, so we decided to get a annual pass for Universal Studios and Disney World. We ended up going there this year about 71 times. How many of you think 71 times to Disney and Universal going every day is a lot more fun than just going to a job? That's what I like to teach people, is work less and make more. That is the philosophy I want to teach people. Now, how can you end up doing that? That only happens if you learn to build relationships with people in a deeper manner. Just to give you an example, one of my clients today, it is his birthday. And so I stopped by at his office. He was not there, but I brought him a muffin and left it for him. I have already sent a card to him before. Now, how many of you think when he comes back to the office and he sees that, what is his impression going to be? He's going to be positive, right? It's like, okay, this is a guy I should remember. If there's an opportunity to refer, will he refer me or not? Absolutely, right? Okay? and the occasion is on Sunday, so we'll just wish Lean a happy birthday today, right? And let's all wish happy birthday to Lean here. 18? Wow! Well, I was thinking 19. I was off by a year. I was meeting her husband just day before Wednesday. I was at his office as well. And the main thing which I want to mention to you is that when you make people feel special, they remember you. Now, how many of you like somebody to make you feel special? So the group that we want to collect here is going to operate on two simple principles. Now, what are those principles? Can anybody share what those who have been here a few times? What is the first principle?
Build relationships.
Yeah, make everyone feel special. That's the first one. Make everyone feel special. And the second is be a giver. Because that's the type of person who will attract people, and we are all in attracting people business. Would you all agree with me? Because if you attract people, you are going to get better results, because people want to feel good around you. And that's the theme of our program all the time. Now, you might say, hey Minesh, I've heard that before. Then the question is, are you doing it daily? If you're doing it daily, great. If you're not doing it, it's a good reminder. But you're also coming around people who are givers as well. And I want to share some ideas with you on how I have been doing it. So the process is very simple. We will pass out a sheet later as well. Is email and mail your clients and VIPs on a monthly basis. You call them on a monthly basis. You also want to make sure that you are visiting them as often as possible. Now, depending on the location of your clients, most of my clients are all over the country, so it's not possible to visit them that often. But yesterday I went to Bryan, Ohio to visit one of my clients and did a short training at his office, because I want him to feel more connected with me. He already coaches with me on the phone, but I wanted to go and personally meet him and his team there. Do you think that helped deepen the relationship? Absolutely. Like stopping at my client's place today, does that deepen my relationship with him? Absolutely. So you want to email, mail, call, visit. You can invite them to different events that you might be having. So bringing people to this event would be a great plus for people that you know in your own community. And last but not least is send them gifts. At least a birthday gift a year. How many of you agree that what I told you today isn't rocket science? So let me ask you honestly, how many of you do that on a consistent basis? Couple of you, right? If you do that, do you see results in your business? Yeah. Absolutely. I get a referral pretty much every day from somewhere in the country. Why? Because I've been doing that job for a while. And I mentioned this story about one of my friends, Rick, who makes a lot of money, $8.5 million a year. He's in the mortgage and real estate coaching business as well as mortgage. And he likes a certain cigar called Diamond Crown No. 4. So guess what he receives on his birthday? That exact same brand. Because if you give him any other brand, he's not going to keep it. He's just going to give it to somebody else or whatever. But if you give him the brand he likes, because every day after work, he goes to a cigar place and smokes cigar there with his buddies. So if I know somebody likes something, why would I not do what they want? And if I did that consistently, I'll get better results. So like Lean went to Disney not too long ago with her children, a month ago actually, and two young beautiful twins. And so when she got back, the children had a birthday gift card, correct?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I know you enjoyed it, so I don't know about your children,
Well,
right? There's a Disney store in Troy, and she doesn't live far from there, so obviously that's a place to go and shop if you want, and you can shop online as well. So the main thing which I'm really trying to teach you here is how good are you in taking relationships to the next level with your people, clients, VIPs, and referral partners. Because the most what people will do is just maybe call once in a while. But if you really do the basic consistently enough, people will like you, trust you to a point that they want to be around you. That is the philosophy we want to teach. Now again, it doesn't cost a lot of money. Like the cigar that I sent my friend is less than $15. That's very expensive, right? But you and I have to find out that it really helps to build that. So how many of you agree that if you did that consistently with top 50 people in your list of people, people who can refer you business, people who are great clients of you, like you're in the mortgage business, right? Residential mortgage, I assume? Right. So if you took great care of clients as well as referral partners like Tara here, would they not feel more inclined to refer you business? Absolutely. Some have a program, some don't. but I would recommend having some version of a program where you can do that consistently. And one of the things we'll ask you to do today before you leave is to sign a commitment sheet which says, hey, I will do this by the next week. Now, how many of you have been doing some of that since the last time we have been meeting? Good. So anybody has done specifically an activity and seen some benefit from it? I would love to hear that. Yes, Lee? Loudly so that she can hear it as well. Mm-hmm.
So I did 2 things. One, I kind of work closely with the carpet guys. They're a carpet company.
Correct.
And they called me and they said they have these certificates that they don't know how to arrange them on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there, half an hour, told them where to put everything, and
Correct.
then they just sent me this, which is an advertising book, and they said they did a spotlight on me.
Wow, congratulations, that's great.
So
Now, how many people does this go to?
Every client that they have, and every person that has this, that have an ad in this book, will have a bunch of them, and they will give them.
So what is your guess? How many people do you think, how many copies might be
I
there?
would say it's like 1,500 or
1,500.
even more. I don't know, depending on how many.
Yeah, so even if it's 1,000.
They said they see 100 people every day.
Perfect. So you see the potential for getting your name out to people in a way that you can't even believe can help you, right? And that's really the power of building relationships. Now, in building relationships, it doesn't take much, but you have to be doing something different than other people. So what is the easiest thing we can always do? Smile. You can always smile. If there is somebody that you met first time, for example, who is the waitress here? Does anybody know the name of the waitress?
Ashley.
Savannah. Ashley was last time. Okay? Savannah is correct. Okay, the hostess at the front is Ashlyn. The person who manages this place right now is Gina. I take time to learn about that. Now, if you want a quick technique, it is very simple. Whenever you shake hands with somebody, you immediately want to repeat the name. And then it's a good idea to make sure you spell the name in a way that works, right? So for example, Savannah, how do you spell it? Do you spell it with 2 N's? How do you do that? Why? Because it gives your mind a little bit time to gather the information, to retain it. Not a very difficult thing to do, but anytime somebody says, hi, my name is Minesh, you're like, Minesh, oh, how do you spell that? M? Yeah, okay. And that will cement the name to you a little bit more than if you just heard the name and boom, it goes away. How many of you feel trouble in remembering names, right? And that's just one of the simple techniques you can use that. When you repeat somebody's name, how does it make them feel? Yeah, it's like special. It's easy to do that. So how many of you can keep doing this, or if you are new to this game, start making everyone who you meet with feel special in some way of fashion, and on top of it, come from a place of being a giver. How many of you can do that? Now we can practice giving very easily. In fact, from next week onwards, we'll have a button called Ask Me About Pay It Forward. So all you have to do is bring a guest, and we'll give you that button. So if you go to a networking event and you have a button here which says Ask Me About Pay It Forward, what will that do for you, Steve?
It will make me want to ask you what it's about.
Exactly. It engages and starts a conversation, doesn't it? And that it engages people's attention and starts a conversation. Now the buttons have just arrived at my location, but they arrived after I got here, right? So I'll have to get them next week. And Lori has been working very much hard work to help us really create some tools to grow our group here. Because I would like to see more like 30 people on a weekly basis. So what I want to make sure you understand is that this is not about going to a networking event and exchanging business cards. We want to collect a group of winners, givers, who want to create more income and they want to focus on building relationships. So how many of you think a reminder like that on a weekly basis and all you have to do is pay for a pizza is a good place to be, right? And that's all it is. And here's what some people say to me, Minesh, I'm a giver. Now if you ask anybody around, if you stop them and say, hey, are you a giver? What's likely the response they'll give you?
Yeah.
Yes, right? They will always say yes, correct? But is that really true? No, it's not, right? Because how do I know? I know from my own experience. So I'll give you an example, and again, because the audio is not that good on my cell phone, I was listening to an audio CD from Rick, my friend, from a while ago. And this was quite a few years ago. And he, on his CD, was expressing his frustration that he has referred me business, but he's not getting much in value back. Okay? So I'm also as responsible in some cases of not giving back like the other person is. He's giving a lot more to me than I'm giving to him. That just is true. So why do people not come across as givers? Or why are some people not givers? Here are 3 situations I have found. The first is there are some people who don't think like a giver. They're always me first, me first, me first, me first. So I know a certain person, Lisa and I know both that person. This person is always me first. In fact, he competes with his own wife. It's like, really? And that person will always look at everybody else as enemy and himself, his team, himself. That's pretty much what he does. Would you agree with me on that?
Yes.
Everybody around him knows that he's always for himself, right? The rules have to be bent for him. Now again, I don't think it is easy to penetrate that person's mindset. Okay? Hopefully he learns sometime, right? But there's not much you can do about that person, and just leave it at that. And then don't worry about it. Now the second time, or the second perspective is, the person is in what we call a survival mode. So when you and I are in survival mode, what happens? Hey, I have barely enough for myself, how can I actually give somebody else? Has anybody ever felt like that? Right? It's like, man, I just need to take care of myself. And again, that prevents us from being a giver. But here is the universal law. The more you give, the more you get. Isn't that true? The more you give, the more you get. Here's a simple example of this. If I smile, would you smile back? So I give you a smile, I get a smile. And that simple concept applies to all these places where we go. Now the third time or perspective somebody has about giving is that this person has so much, there is no way I can give anything of value. So that's the relationship I have with Rick. It's like this person has so much. He makes $8.5 million a year. Do you think he lacks in anything specific? Not really, right? So I have to be creative in giving gifts and stuff to him. Recognition to him. For example, I'm just mailing a $50 pizza card to his employees so they can go and have pizza next week, and his employees are happy. Guess what? It's going to make him happy.
Yeah.
Do you understand that? His daughter had a baby in April, so a month or so before, I sent out a Baby Zara's card to the daughter. And the daughter also works in the business, and his wife also supports in the business. Her birthday is in March. Guess what? I sent a birthday card and a gift to her in March as well. So how many of you understand that regardless of how we feel, and I'm assuming no one here belongs to the first category. There's another person who used to come here, Lori and I know this, who's always like taker. After a meeting like this, he comes and gives me his check for me to pay for him. I'm like, what? He said, you said you'll give free lunch. I said, no. I said, if you have a guest here who's a business owner, I'll buy that person's lunch. You've been here before, you're not a guest, you didn't bring a guest. Now, I said that clearly enough, but he's the only one who came and wanted a free lunch. And the reason I'm sharing that with you is just realize some people, that's how they are. Don't worry about it, don't fret about it. Just move on and find other people that are more responsive. But the next two parts, which is being in survival mode and coming from a place I have nothing to give, we all suffer from it. Do you know what I'm talking about? We all suffer from it. So we just need to recognize and move past it. Because we can always find something to give somebody. We can always maybe refer them somebody. We can find something of value that they like. They may be interested in something specific and you can get that. It may not cost you a lot of money, or you can go, like the muffin that I took to my client's place. The muffin was $2. Doesn't cost a whole lot, does it? But the effort makes it easier for me. So how many of you think you can practice this kind of activity of being a giver on a daily basis? What kind of benefits would you get from it? Just shout out to me. If you did that consistently every day with a focus, what would that do for you?
Comes back to you.
Comes back to you.
Referral.
And referrals.
Huh?
Referrals.
Referrals. Okay, what else? If you did in general in life,
Makes you feel good.
makes you feel good, right?
Strengthen the relationship with whoever.
Correct. But it makes you somebody that people want to be around. We are all in people attraction business, so why not be a person that people want to be around, right? And that's the secret behind being a giver, producing results in your life. Now, Lori, you had an example of giving out gifts and getting returned. Do you want to share that?
Well, I had a client that I gave a couple coasters to, a set of 4 with their logo on them. And within a few days of giving that gift, I got an $8,000 order.
Wow. So how much did you spend in these gifts?
$25.
$25. How many of you think that's a pretty good return on investment? Right? You send out a $25 gift and you get $8,000 in return. That's pretty much how the multiplication happens. Here is the reason for it. Nobody else is doing it. How many of you have found other people reaching out to you on your birthday? Not really, right? How many people are calling you and saying, hey, I just want to call and thank you? Now, quite a few calls that I'm on, my last few sentences are what? Lisa, any guesses?
Just appreciation. Thank you for your time.
Pretty much always. Always. So I was talking to a client in Washington State, and we were ending the call, and I said, we talk quite a bit, and I don't know if I say this enough to you, but I really do appreciate you and your business, and I love being able to talk to you. What do you think that does to him? Yeah, he feels like he wants to do more with me, isn't it? How many calls do you get at the end of it? That's how people end. Right? Yeah. What if you started to add that sentence at the end every single time? Hey, I really appreciate you and your business, and I thank you for it, and I look forward to serving you again. Something to that effect.
You'll hear their tone change.
Their tone changes like that. Exactly, Lisa. You got it.
Yeah.
They suddenly are very mellow, very relaxed, and they really feel touched. Now again, these are business techniques, but on top of it, don't you feel you become a better person in the process? If you take better care of people around you, like every single morning when my children are waking up, we homeschool, or whenever I see them, I tell them how much I appreciate them. Every single day. Every single day. Why? Because if I don't, who will? If I don't say nice things to my own children, other people are not, right? It's not that they don't want to, or it's just like that's not their focus. So I want them to feel special because that's what drives us all. So what is one action that you can take, just shout out to me, that will be different, or you'll continue to do what you're already doing, specifically in the area of making people feel special?
Send thank you notes.
Send thank you notes. Good. Anybody else?
Stopping by.
Stopping by, visiting people, right? Very good. What else? Huh?
Calling them.
Calling them. Very good. These are not complicated things to do, but guess what happens? We like to chase the next client instead of taking great care of relationships we already have. We forget that the people who do business with us are not only likely to be doing more business with us, but they'll also more likely refer us. Is that simple enough for all of us to do, right? Now some people are like, Minesh, we talk about the same thing? Yes, because this message will never get old. Would you agree with me on that?
Right.
So, good. So, I know Rockland, this is the first time you are here. What did you get from what we said so far?
Basically, just take a little bit of time out of your day to go extra mile for a client or a person you work with.
Yeah, make them feel special. Talk to them, right? Is there somebody that comes to your mind that you could say something like that to?
Not a million people probably.
Okay,
Yeah.
Great. How long have you been in business now?
Locally for about a year, but
Okay.
the business mortgage is about 6.
Great, fantastic. Well, thanks for being here, and Tara, thanks for bringing him as well. And we have Lori bringing guests. So, Elmond, right? ELMOND, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. So thanks for being here. You are with Credit Union.
Yeah.
You are in point of sale processing. Is that what it is?
Point of sale finance.
Financing.
Yeah.
Okay. Point of sale financing. And that's right. You brought your guest as well, Micah, right? Fantastic. Thanks for coming as well. Anybody else has missed as a guest? No. Fantastic. So here's what I like to do for introduction. Now we all go to different events where we talk about 60-second commercials, correct? And the 60-second commercial is usually about, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, right? And it's like coming up with something that is fancy, people remember it, na. And I don't know about you, but it quite often puts pressure on me. Does anybody ever feel like that? It's like, God, I got only 60 seconds to explain something. Now again, we don't have a whole lot of time here, but at the same time, I think what I want to focus more on is, what is a success story of a client that you have helped? For example, in my case, I'll give one example, is one of my clients, Steven, after working with me for about 8 months, added $200,000 to his income. Okay, so that is really a client success story. Very short, very succinct. People can easily say, okay, he worked with somebody. So we need to make our 60-second or whatever it is short and very direct. Because the longer we take, the less interest people have in hearing us. Would you all agree with me on that? Because what are we doing normally when somebody is speaking? You are thinking about our own commercial, right? So we don't want to drift off. So the shorter it is, quicker it is, and if it's a story which gives some kind of semblance of what it did for the other person, then it gives a little bit more credibility and a little bit more interest on the part of the person who's listening to it. So who wants to be the first one to go? Sharing. Okay, Lori, stand up and speak up, and I'm sure Linda has.
Okay. I've been working with Minesh now since April, I
Yes.
think. And my income has surpassed last year's.
Yeah. Lisa Dwyer, Primerica Financial Services. I have helped approximately 50 people, and my best story to help them out of debt was one couple was in debt for 92 years.
Wow.
Right? They never would have paid their debt off, and we got them out of debt in 9 years, teaching the Dave Ramsey approach with our company, and we help people become accountable, right? So when you go to some events, you know, you'll hear about how to get out of debt, but then you never hear from them again. So your accountability is gone. So we help people stay accountable.
I'm still
you know.
doing what
Correct.
I do, but
I understand.
I have helped customers, and one story I share is just using some of the questions that I've listened to on the CD. It just opened up where the client is automatically asking me, well, or telling me, I think I have some needs for you. And I thought that was awesome, because I was just calling her to talk to her about what we could do, ask her some questions about how she got started, what made her do that, and all of those things, and she just felt warm to me to say, I have some referrals for you, and that's what I need. I need
Thank you.
referrals.
And you were giving her something of value, so she saw providing value back.
Yes.
Great, give it on.
We put in a computer system that saved my client $24,000 a year and doubled the capacity of their
60 seconds, yeah.
I'll try.
That's on.
Mark Foytek, Foytek Consulting. Usually I talk about technology. I'm going to give you the different side of my business. I had a technology solution for a company, implemented it, and then they called me up and said they were really frustrated with where their business was and wanted to go from here to here. I put a plan together. The hardest part about management consulting, or taking a company from point A to point B, is getting them to buy in. And getting them to understand it's going to take risk and it's going to take time. And there's going to be pain along the way. So it doesn't happen like selling a computer or a website or things like that. But the relationship that I had built with the person, as Minesh has talked about, relationships are so important. He trusted me. This owner of this company trusted me because of what I had done before. And I think that's one of the most important things you have to do, is build the trust. Because then they'll come to you about things like, do you think I should get this kind of silverware?
I'm Marie Kubiak, and I'm with Busway of Michigan. And since I've been attending Minesh's groups, I have decided to send out thank you cards to anybody who I had contact with, whether they booked jobs for my husband to do or whether they didn't. And since I've been in this for the last 2 months, we now have repeat customers calling us back that didn't book us the first time, but now they are using us because we took the time to say thank you for just them giving us a call and considering us.
Thank you, that's great. That's an easier way to build a business, isn't it? Go ahead, Teresa.
I'm Teresa St. Dennis, and I've been in the real estate industry for over 25 years. And I can honestly say I've spent thousands of dollars on infrastructure for my business, from seminars, classes, but I've gotten more out of my relationship with Minesh in 1 year's time than I've gotten in 25 years.
Oh, thank you. That's great. Thank you. You got time. Rocky.
Rockland, last name, more at Flagstar Bank, do mortgages. Obviously, I've been doing it for a while. Story actually, I'll use Tara's client. She had a client that came over from a bank that couldn't do the loan. Came over to our spot, we were able to get the loan, work with a couple bumps in the road and get it taken care of, and she closed, and I think she loves both of us to this day. So.
Very good. That's a good example, right? Excellent. Go ahead, Tara.
Hello, I'm Tara with Signature Real Estate, and yeah, she just reached out again today and sent me a no referral. But I also work with redemption properties, foreclosures. So what happened is they were losing their home, and I was able to help them rebuild the property to say, you know, that you have 6 months to keep in your property and to go further. And so they were scared because of everything that happened with the foreclosure and not knowing what's going to happen, and I ended up selling the house and making them $12,000.
Wow, that's great.
Nathan Chu, Tri-City Construction. I got in with a group called Good Samaritan Network. Keith O'Neill runs the Good Samaritan Network. Got in with these guys about 7 years ago. Keith had contacted me about a young boy in Fenton that was unable to come home to his house because he had cancer. His house was in very, very bad need of repair. You guys are talking about building relationships. I built a relationship with this gentleman over the years that they call on me in my business every time they need a wheelchair ramp built or something like that. Doing this job for the Good Samaritan Network on this boy's house was over a $70,000 project that we put together and did for him so the boy could come home from the hospital. During the project, one of the gentlemen there that we were overseeing with was there doing some tree work and stuff like that. I met him that day. The week after I met him, his house caught fire, his house burned to the ground. He called me up, and within 24 hours I was out there at the house. He had 7 other contractors that his insurance company sent out to the house, and we were the one that ended up with the project. And he said, I'm giving you this project for what you've done for this family.
Wow, that's great.
Steve Briggs, Designs Connection. Mine's more in the area of just building, trust and friendship with the new client. I just got a new client out in the Birmingham area, and they needed some computer support help, and so I went in there and I just was being myself, talked to the person that, as I normally would, but through that, he could understand that I was there. I had his best interest in heart and stuff, and at the end of it, I found out he was actually the president of the company. It was on a day that he wasn't dressed like he normally would have been dressed, but I just talked to him like he's a regular guy. So to me, that just says that people are people.
Correct.
We just need to talk to him how we would anybody else. But through that, him and I text back and forth all the time, and he asked me. He just knows that he can trust me.
Hi everyone, Lisa Badal, interior designer and owner of Decorating Bed Interiors. I have a client who told me I got to this, and when I got there, he said the owner of the commercial space wants you to choose carpet, flooring, tiles, everything's like right at that spot. It's like I didn't talk to him before that, and it got to this. And I won third place for this. And the cool thing about this, it's like he got the awesome thing, but I just got a call from someone that was judging the competition, and they said that they want to publish one of my designs in a book. So I don't know which one, this one or that one, but
That's great. Congratulations. That's great.
Alman Knopf, Dork Federal. My success to date, Dork's in the process of building a new point-of-sale financing program, and we have about 6 businesses enrolled. And one of them enrolled, Lori referred to me, and it's a dental office locally. And the money we saved her on one loan was over $800, and that's 2/3 the cost of our whole annual program. So she's probably saved 3 times cost just in 6 months of having our program. So I always tell everybody our savings are real, and come and check us out, Dork Federal Credit Union.
Fantastic.
I have a client that did a referral bounce back. So I do a lot of direct mail. It was a card that said, if you give us a referral, we will pay you $50 for every referral, and they have already gotten 50 back. So,
Wow, here is my challenge to each one of you, is to add one person a week. If you add at least one person a week, what will happen? In a year, you'll have over 50 names. And pick people that you like, that you want to support, they support you, and over a time period of a year, you will have a foundation for at least $100,000 or more a year. Why? Because you took the time to develop relationships. And to me, that's an easy thing to do if you stay focused on it. Now, Lori has been working really, really hard. So what I've done is hired her to make a workbook for us. So here is the notes-taking sheet, which is part of accountability, but also you can use it for
the bottom ones are on recycled paper, don't use those, please.
Oh yeah, I can see that. I was like, what is that?
There's plenty.
There's plenty, but at least you can use the sheet for your own benefit. We'll be getting the workbooks later, right? So you have enough of the pages there. We just wanted to demonstrate to you what that would look like. So how many of you, if you came every week and you had a sheet where you could fill out like key point from today's session, people to follow up, an appointment set, my commitment from last week, did you do it, yes or no? My commitment for this week, birthday cards that you sent out, gifts that you sent out, thank you notes that you sent out, phone calls that you made, and then I practice paying it forward by. And you can write down, for example, hey, I bought coffee for somebody else, I paid toll for somebody else, stuff like that, which is not that complicated. And then celebrating your success, because that's the whole thing. Now, how many of you think if you came every week and did this consistently, it would help you grow your business? Would you all agree with me on that? Because what are you focused on? You're focused on holding yourself accountable by improving some of the activities. So here's how the workbook will look like, okay? And then beautiful, isn't it? And there is a back, pay it forward, be a giver, all that stuff is there. One of the pages that I think I sent out to some of you who signed up for the workshop is the profile ad. So you can put your own information there. So I'll give you, for example, I don't know if Lori, yours is here or not. Yeah, it is here. Okay. So Lori's is right here as a guide. The information that you provided, I know Marty, you already provided me. So you write down the top, what is your business? In her case, she has written design printing. Then it's a beautiful picture. Now mine may not look that pretty, so I'll have to, I don't think I'll use her picture for me. So anyway, best clients. So she wrote down who are the best clients for her. The next one is services or products. Like in her case, menus, direct mail, brochures, etc. Then she has a referral reward. Now your business may not have it, depending on the type of business you have. But here in her case, she's giving away $25 gift card to restaurant of your choice or movie tickets. And the last is her contact information along with the the website information at the bottom. How many of you think if somebody opened these pages and actually was looking through it, it's pretty eye-catching, well-designed, and when you have the workbook with you, you can also use it as a resource to refer people. Would you all agree with me on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the way to be in this workbook is very simple. All you have to do is come to my October 21st workshop, and I'll pass out the flyer for that too. The main thing is it's a full day workshop, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Troy at Embassy Suites. Breakfast and lunch is included, and the charge for that is $297. Now, just because our workbook has, still needs another week, I'm going to give what I gave as an offer last week to continue today. But we need ASAP all the information so we can print it out. As you can see, the only thing remaining is your profile ad. The rest of the stuff is all done, correct? So we would like your information to be in it ASAP. If you're already a current client, then your information will be in it, okay? And also, if you already signed up for the workshop last week, then your information will be in it as well. But if you did sign up for it, I will make sure that I give you the information on signing up for that. Hold on.
What time is that again?
Yeah, what time?
9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Sorry, I have the notebook. Is that here? Pardon? You don't have that as 9 to 4 or?
How much is it again?
$97 today already. Correct, exactly. So if you are one of those people who's looking to come, I'll wait for a second, then just you can put out your information in it. And if you have any questions, you can ask me that as well. So put your name there, put your phone number, make sure you write legibly your email address, okay? And then I do take credit cards, so you can have a debit card or a credit card. I take American Express, Visa, MasterCard. I do not take Discover. So I haven't discovered the value for it, so we'll talk about that some other time. But the reason is that they charge extra money for processing, which is not fun, especially because they have pays to discover. But enough of the value we provide here, and you care enough about the person that you have brought here today, that you want to build a stronger relationship with them. So, Rockland, by being here, do you feel Tara is committed more to your relationship?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. How about Steve? Do you feel? How about Elman? Do you feel that too?
Yes.
Absolutely. And Netra, how do you feel? Yeah. So, Micah, how do you feel about Netra inviting you today?
Good.
Exactly. And again, we just have to do the same thing over and over. It's just that sometimes it gets mundane, it sometimes gets boring, it's not exciting. But when you see the rewards over a longer period, you can see the value of how giving comes back to you multiple times, so that you work less and less and less, because you've built enough relationships, so you keep making more money and more money. But more important is what? You have the freedom to enjoy your life. Because there's no point in working harder next year and making less and having less freedom. It's about having more freedom, making more money, so that you can have the life that you want today. Not when you retire, not when things are all done. Like, you may not have the opportunity to retire in a way that is healthy sometimes. Well, why not enjoy it today? So thanks again for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Enjoy. Once again, thank you for coming. My name is Minesh, Baxi, and I really enjoy people who are givers. And because we are givers, we want to pay it forward, and I look forward to seeing you again next week in Grand Blanc. Thank you.